Well, this is a pleasure to have this gentleman on the show. He is the, he can correct me once I get him going. I call him the unofficial West Edmonton Mall historian. He runs the Twitter account and the YouTube page, Best Edmonton Mall. Matthew Duchak is here. Matthew, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
Now, is that fair that you're or are you the official West Edmonton Mall historian?
For the longest time, I was the unofficial mall historian, and I think I must have been moved into the official stature by now because no one else is doing it, so I'm the guy.
Now, just to clarify, West Edmonton Mall does not employ you to do this stuff.
No, not at all. I'm just a mega mall, mega fan is, I guess, another way to put it. Yeah, no, they've been really good to me. They don't have to let me, walk around and give the coverage that I do. But, they've been really great. But, no, I'm not at all officially employed.
But you made enough of a name for yourself that the mall itself said, okay, yeah, you want to do a story on this or talk to this person, take video of this, they pretty much give you access.
Luckily enough, yes. Yeah, absolutely they do. And it's actually been really great.
Now, remind everybody and me, because it's been 2.5 years since the last time you were on the show, February of 2020.
Wow.
Remind everybody how and why you started West Edmonton Mall.
Well, way back in the day, I was talking with some colleagues who were a little younger than me, and I was talking about the submarines at West Edmonton Mall. And they said, "There's no submarines at West Edmonton Mall. What are you talking about?" And by then, the entire, the platform where they used to load them was completely gone, and they couldn't wrap their head around the fact that there were submarines in the mall. And then I realized, no one's documenting or talking about these things and proving it, so someone better step up. So I just started doing it, and wow, it took off. It really resonated with a lot of Edmontonians.
Well, I've seen a bunch of your stuff, and I spent some time this afternoon watching a few videos, some of which I think I'd seen before, but I just went on your YouTube page and started watching stuff. But your stuff it's professionally done. Like, this isn't you just holding up a camera and you're a talking head for 7 minutes. You have nicely edited, well-voiced stories about the mall.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, but yeah, no, I really try. And I've been lucky, now as I've grown, a lot of people who have taken footage of the mall over the years, back with the VHS camcorders on their shoulders, they said, you know what, I have all this great footage. Do you want to use it for your channel? And every time I hear that, I'm like, yes, more content. But yeah, no. And then, it's really nice to edit it back and then tell the story of the history there. Yeah.
Okay. How many subscribers do you have? It's in the thousands, right?
I'm getting close to 21,000 on YouTube and on TikTok, I'm sorry to say, because I consider myself a YouTuber. I'm over 30,000, 33 or 34,000 on TikTok.
And some of the video, now the one I watched, I think I watched before, I'm going to guess it's your most watched video, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's the one about the dragon.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's my most watched, but it's way up there. Absolutely. There was it was actually named Excalibur. A lot of people don't know it had a name.
I didn't know it had a name.
Yeah, it had a name.
So people, just for context, if people are forgetting, the fire-breathing dragon that was in Silver City.
Formerly known as Silver City, now known as Scotiabank Theatre. There's a big empty dome when you walk into that lobby. Yes. But back in the day, fully animatronic, fire-breathing dragon. It burned natural gas, huge flames, laser beam eyes. It was a sight to see, man. I'm telling you, the motto of Edmonton for a long time was, have you seen the dragon yet? Everyone talked about the dragon, especially in 1999 when it first opened.
We had the dragon for what, about 11 years?
About a decade, a little more stationary. Okay. It operated for about a decade.
All right, and then why couldn't have they left the dragon there even after they stopped the fire show?
Yeah, everyone asks that question, and it was made to be animatronic. It was made to move, and when you make something to move, you need to maintain it. It has this latex outer shell, and if you don't maintain it and clean it, it starts to dry off, and it starts to flake, and then over time, it was just falling apart, and dust and dirt was falling off of it, and it was right over the concession stand, and that just spelled trouble.
There's dragon scales in my poutine.
Exactly, or your popcorn, or what have you, but absolutely, yeah, so it had to be taken out, unfortunately.
Okay, so how often do you come to the mall? Like, is this your place to hang out and shop?
Yeah, absolutely it is. I live on the south side of Edmonton, so it's a trek to come over here, but I certainly make it a point. My whole life I've loved the mall. I've loved going to the attractions. I love the shopping. I love everything about this place. So even if I'm not in the mood, I get in the mood, gosh darn it.
So how many days a week are you here?
I don't know. I wouldn't say more than 1 day a week. I'd say weekly to once a week to every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, but you're always looking for stories and stuff.
I'm always walking around with my phone out, my camera out, and oh look, this new store opened, this new store, and fans they'll reach out to me and say, have you seen the new store at West Edmonton Mall? And they know I'm the person to talk to, and so I get a lot of hot tips.
Okay, and I noticed from watching some of your videos today, it seems like, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like is a transition or has been a transition at Galaxyland?
Yeah, it certainly has been a transition.
Okay, so what's the story there?
Well, they started, I guess they're sponsored, or they have a partnership with Hasbro, so they're retheming every single ride in Galaxyland is being rethemed to a Hasbro toy or game.
Oh.
So we've got Hungry Hungry Hippos already there, we've got Sorry, we've got Trouble, we've got My Little Pony, Micro Machines, and everything top to bottom in that amusement park.
You had me in My Little Pony.
I know, I was saving that for last because I knew it would get you really excited.
All right, so... But they still have the Mindbender and everything.
They still have them.
Did they change the name?
Not yet. And the Mindbender's a hot topic. It has been closed for a couple of years now.
Well, that long, eh?
It has been. And, there's rumors flying this way and that on TikTok about how they're taking it out. But all I can say regarding that is they built that track before they put the roof over it. I'm not sure, just because, they're having some trouble sourcing a couple parts, that they're not going to just take the time to machine the parts versus rip out a, multi-million-dollar track.
Oh.
But that's just me.
So the mall cooperates with you? Generally.
They're very good to me, yes.
But have they ever said, God, Matthew, we wish you hadn't reported that? Or why didn't you check with us before you put that on your YouTube page? Has that ever happened?
Early on.
Yeah.
Early on, I made, a couple things that they probably maybe would have preferred be a little more secret. But, honestly, there's not much that they don't, that doesn't happen anymore, because usually when something's coming out, they'll just reach out to me and be like, hey, we're opening a new ride at Galaxyland, or a retheme is being unveiled. Do you want to come make a video about it? So they're very open. They're really welcoming. So I guess it's a win-win.
Because you're doing free PR for them. You should start charging.
No, they're giving me free content as well. So honestly, it's a win-win. I'm very happy with the mall. They've been really fantastic to me.
Well, it is pretty fascinating. Matthew Duchak joining us tonight on Inside Sports. We're live at West Edmonton Mall. He has the YouTube channel, the Twitter account. Well, the Twitter account is Best Ed Mall.
Twitter and Facebook is Best Ed Mall. Everything else is Best Edmonton Mall.
Best Edmonton Mall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think the YouTube page is the best, personally.
I agree.
There's all that stuff on it. And I'm thinking about, so where we are right now, this is...
Phase 1.
This is classic WEM. This is original WEM. So we got, so off to my left here is the Bay. Now, so we used to have what? We had the Bay, we had Sears.
Eaton's in front of us.
Eaton's was there.
And Sears behind us.
Okay, so now Sears no longer exists.
Eaton's no longer exists. Zellers was there for a while. It doesn't exist.
The Bay is hanging on.
Target was there for a while. It doesn't exist.
The Target was there too.
Yeah,
so there's a huge car dealership down this one.
Yeah, West Edmonton Mall Toyota. And actually, it's pretty darn impressive, to be honest. When these big anchor stores close, there's not a lot of anchor stores left in the world. Trying to fill those spaces is pretty challenging. But to bring a Toyota dealer to the mall, I think it's very cool. You can come, you drive right in, you leave your car there, you go for dinner on Bourbon Street, you pick up your car after. I think it's a phenomenal idea.
And the Brick is now at the other end here.
The Brick is above West Edmonton Mall Toyota.
Oh, the Brick's okay. So what's down this way where Drysidle is?
Winners.
That's Struck Tube and Winners.
Yeah, but right behind us here where this stage is, this was originally Center Fountain. This was a phenomenal center fountain piece with fountains that used to fly so high up into the atrium that they'd be beyond the second floor.
I don't remember those. I should remember those.
You should check out my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I didn't watch that video. Do they still have the jumping fountains? Or were those at Galaxyland?
They were at Galaxyland. They don't have them anymore.
That's disappointing, because they were incredibly accurate.
Cosmos Space Fountain. Yeah, every time. But, they jump from one to another. That's a lot of fans of that old attraction, for sure.
Okay, you can stick around until the bottom of the hour, because I want to ask you a couple other things about things people ask you and perceptions people have of West Edmonton Mall, if we can get to that.
I'm happy to.
All right. We're outside the Bay. Again, come see our street teamers if you're in the mall, or you can get here by 8 o'clock and enter to win Oilers tickets. Matthew Duchak is with me from Best Edmonton Mall. Matthew Duchak is here. He runs the YouTube page, Best Edmonton Mall. He is the mall historian, which is amazing. So I was looking at some of the comments on some of your videos on YouTube, which maybe I shouldn't have done.
It's always a mixed bag.
But I feel like almost everybody was like, Oh, yeah, well, they changed that. New thing sucks. Oh, yeah, it was better 10 years ago. And then somebody who liked from 10 years ago was like, no, it's better 20 years ago.
Correct.
But, like, it's still pretty good, isn't it? Like,
honestly, a lot of people jump to the conclusion because my content is really nostalgia-based. I talked about Fantasyland when it first opened. I talked about the fountains and the dragon, everything that used to be around. They just assume that I'm not happy with the mall. I am a mall mega fan. I'm telling you. Like, have you seen Drive, that multi-level go-kart track they have here? That's fantastic. They have.
Where is that?
That's just outside of Galaxyland, right here by the Phase 1 food court.
That. Okay.
Yeah, you can look down into it from the mall concourse too. It's a really amazing attraction. It's a big build, like multi-million dollars. They haven't given up. They're still trying to make this place awesome, and they're doing a good job of it.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's the thing. A lot of people have that era where it's like, well, that's how the mall should be. That's when I went to Electro Tees and got a T-shirt and a video game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I will admit I have that feeling too. You know, I think about my time back in the day with Fantasyland and the jumping fountains at Fantasyland and the Drop of Doom, and then I think about a little bit later, you know, they had Reds, they had Palladium, the Mega Arcade in Phase 4 there, and like those were fantastic times in my life growing up. So I certainly understand that sentiment.
What do you, in your opinion, what do you think's the premier attraction now in West Ed?
Well, I think it's the World Water Park.
Still, eh?
Yeah, I mean
that's been around a while.
It's been around forever, but you know what? It's still fun. Like I said, this Drive go-kart's pretty darn good too, and then Galaxyland as well. But there used to be more competition for what the premier attraction was. You know, the submarines. You know, today the idea of dolphins in a mall maybe doesn't fly, but back in the day there were dolphins here. But you know, they still have the penguins and the marine life. It's an accredited zoo. Like really good mini golf. I mean, there's tons to do still.
Is the Pebble Beach golf still open? I feel like I should know that.
It's technically still open, but it's Professor WEM's Adventure Golf now. But when they first opened it was Pebble Beach.
Because it looks like Pebble Beach.
It was modeled
as Pebble Beach.
It was modeled after Pebble Beach with actual water hazards and sand traps and stuff. And it's still a really good course, but it's themed after the zany professor of Professor WEM now. So.
Well, he is incredibly zany.
He's very zany.
So, all right, now how many? Because I remember like peak mall for me was when there were 24 screens here. Like there were the Phase 1 theaters, there were the Phase. So you see the Phase theaters, which were where I can't remember.
The Phase 1 theaters are where the go-karts are today. The Phase 2,
right, not far from where we are.
Not far, right around the corner here. The Phase 2 theaters were on the upper floor. Just it's kind of where the casino is now, across from where the International Marketplace was, which was this dark, dank back alley of like little home shops. They were really cool. That was a really great part of the mall. And then there was theaters in the Phase 3 food court at the very corner next to the McDonald's, which had its own seating area. Yeah. And they had a big fountain right in front of there too, which is gone now.
Yes.
And then the fourth, of course, was Silver City with the Dragon.
So is Silver City, well, it's not called Silver City. Is it still Scotiabank?
It's Scotiabank now. Back in the day, it opened as Silver City.
So that's all that's left for movie theaters here?
Yeah, it's just Scotiabank Theater.
Wow, because I remember, you'd be like, well, let's go to the mall for a movie. Well, which of the three theaters are we going to go to?
There was and the one over here, it was a dollar theater that actually cost $1. I mean, I saw.
Oh, that's right.
I used to spend time here as a kid, on the summer breaks, and we'd go to Galaxyland, and then we'd go, you know what? We got $3. We'll watch 3 movies and kill 7 hours. Like, it was a different time back then, and I think that's what a lot of people miss.
Yeah. It is interesting, though, and I asked Leon a question about coming here the other day. He's like, well, I don't really go there unless I have to. And I was like, yep, that's the answer, because Connor said that 2 years ago.
I remember that.
And it's like, but that's the answer for a lot of Edmontonians. But we still will come here, though. We accept that sometimes we got to drive and park and walk and get through the crowd, but you got to come here sometimes.
That's true. And you know what? I try to understand that sentiment, and I don't get it because I'm always excited to come here. Yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just a child at heart that never grew up, but I come here and I still see the magic of the 80s and 90s, and I still think it's here today, and I see it through those rose-colored glasses. So. Yeah.
So Electro Tees is not open? Is that what you're telling me? Wasn't that the store? That's where I used to buy cartridges for my in television.
Yeah,
I thought it was Electro Tees.
You're in television. Wow, we're going way back. Yeah, there used to be.
I'll go back. Yeah, the video game systems. I'm going back.
Well, there used to be. I think it was called Play Me by the Ice Palace.
Play Me. There was Computer Play. Was another store?
That's right. Computer Play. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, but I mean, we're going. You got to check your system requirements. Does my Pentium 2 processor run this thing?
Well, it was for me. It was why can't I get games for my my 286 anymore. So what does it mean? Because we're getting into the final. We got to find time to do this again. Like, we got to get me out to the mall, just even if the Oilers aren't here. But what does it mean in your mind to have the Oilers come do this?
Oh, I came here early today. I was excited to be on air with you, but I walked the entire length of the mall before coming back here and sitting with you. And just like the energy, it's like an injection of just like fun into the mall to see everyone in their Oilers regalia, and they're all smiles, and it's just packed. And I love it. Like, it's a really high energy. It's bringing that fun back to the mall, bringing those events, bringing that, it's not just going there to shop. You're going to be here to do an event like that. I love that. It's like injecting fun into the mall for sure.
All right, remind everybody where they can watch and or follow your stuff.
YouTube, Best Edmonton Mall, TikTok, Best Edmonton Mall, and Best Ed Mall on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, you have TikTok?
I do.
Sounds provocative.
Yes, I prefer YouTube, but I am on TikTok. You got to go with the trends.
That is Matthew Duchak, the historian for West Edmonton Mall, Best Edmonton Mall, one of my favorite YouTube pages. Thank you so much for dropping by.
Hey, it's my pleasure every time.
Inside Sports on Ched. So, did you get to hear Matthew Duchak from Best Edmonton Mall?
I loved it. Like that. And then once you go down the rabbit hole of the Best Edmonton Mall YouTube videos, you can get caught up in that for hours. Yeah, it's amazing. You're right, and you had said it, that they look like so professionally done. And the history of the mall, for anybody that grew up in Edmonton, and if you've been going to the mall for any amount of time, of course things change at the mall, and maybe sometimes you forget about some of those changes. Well, the beauty is you can go on the YouTube channel and see all the changes. I love it. I've always loved going to the mall. I was going to come there today, but I thought it might be complete chaos with so many people, and I'm sure it is. And that's great. I mean, people can get autographs. I think that's awesome. It's just I didn't need to be in the middle of it. But I like going to the mall. I'm just like Matthew. I enjoy it.